The night she decided to look unattractive on purpose was the same night she promised herself she wouldn't get hurt again. Standing in front of the bathroom mirror, Clara tugged a loose sweater over her shoulders, one that hid her figure and dulled her confidence. She wiped off the soft pink lipstick she'd applied out of habit and tied her hair back in a careless knot. This wasn't insecurity, it was armor. If he didn't like her tonight, at least it wouldn't be because she wasn't enough. It would be because she never tried. Clara had agreed to the blind date after weeks of pressure from her best friend, Lila, who insisted that nice men still exist. Clara didn't believe that anymore. At 32, she'd been loved loudly and then left quietly more times than she cared to count. She had been the woman men admired in public and abandoned in private, praised for her looks but never chosen for her heart. So tonight, she decided to remove the one thing she thought men always came for first, her beauty. The restaurant was small and warm, tucked between a bookstore and a flower shop, the kind of place that smelled like garlic and comfort. Clara arrived early and chose a table near the window, hoping the dim lighting would do the rest of the work for her. When the door opened a few minutes later, she looked up out of reflex, and forgot to breathe. Ethan wasn't what she expected. He wasn't flashy or intimidatingly handsome. He had kind eyes, the kind that crinkled when he smiled, and a posture that suggested quiet confidence rather than practiced charm. He scanned the room nervously before spotting her. When their eyes met, his face lit up, not with disappointment, not with hesitation, but with unmistakable relief. "Clara?" he asked, approaching her table. "That's me," she said, bracing herself. "I'm Ethan. I'm really glad it's you." That single sentence unsettled her more than any compliment ever had. The conversation began politely, then comfortably, then effortlessly. They talked about childhood dreams and favorite books, about how life rarely turns out the way we imagine. Ethan listened in a way that felt rare, like he wasn't waiting for his turn to speak, like every word she said mattered. Clara caught herself laughing, the sound surprising even her. She forgot to be guarded. She forgot to be unattractive. Halfway through dinner, Ethan admitted something that shifted the air between them. "I was nervous tonight," he said. "Not because of how you'd look, but because I was afraid we wouldn't connect." Clara's fork paused midair. "Most people worry about looks first." He shrugged. "Looks fade. Connection doesn't. At least, it shouldn't." For the first time in years, Clara felt seen, not admired, not desired, but understood. And that scared her. As the night went on, she felt the familiar urge to sabotage something good before it could hurt her. When Ethan suggested a second date, she smiled politely and changed the subject. When he walked her to her car, she kept her distance. And when he texted her later that night to say he'd had a wonderful time, she stared at her phone for a long time before replying with a safe, noncommittal response. Over the next few days, Ethan remained consistent. He didn't push, didn't disappear, didn't play games. He asked about her day. He remembered small details. He showed up exactly as he said he would. And slowly, Clara's defenses began to crack. On their fourth date, sitting on a park bench as the sun dipped low, Clara finally told him the truth. About the sweater. About the wiped lipstick. About the years of being chosen last or not at all. Her voice trembled as she confessed, expecting disappointment or pity. Instead, Ethan smiled softly. "I think that might be the bravest thing I've ever heard," he said. "You showed up as yourself, even when you were afraid." "I didn't think anyone would fall for me like that," she admitted. "I didn't fall for how you looked," he replied. "I fell for how you listen, how you care, how you laugh when you forget to be careful. I fell harder because you were real." Clara felt tears gather, not from sadness, but from release. For the first time, she didn't feel like she had to earn love by being beautiful or effortless or easy. She was enough, messy, cautious, honest, and someone saw that and chose her anyway. Their relationship wasn't perfect. They argued. They learned each other's scars. They moved slowly, intentionally. But every step forward felt solid, grounded in something deeper than attraction. And when Clara looked in the mirror months later, dressing for another date with Ethan, she realized something had changed. She wasn't trying to be attractive anymore. She was just being herself. In the end, Clara learned that love doesn't arrive when you're perfectly polished. It arrives when you're brave enough to be seen as you are. And sometimes, the moment you stop trying to be desirable is the moment someone falls for you more deeply than anyone ever has.